So you woke up this morning and you saw Bitcoin up about 36,000, and your heart felt a little sigh of relief, didn't it? But just a little sigh of relief because you're still worried. Is it going to go down from here? Now let me share with you my thoughts. It is still likely to go down from here. But the bigger question is, am I worried about it? And if I'm not worried about it, why? Why am I not worried about it? Many people are saying the bear market is here and we're in a 3-year prolonged bear market. And guess what? I've heard all that. I want to say an expletive there, but I won't. I've heard all that stuff before. And guess what? So often they're wrong. And what I hate about that stuff is, guess what? You know, their channel has X number of subscribers or whatever, and they are wrong all the time. Hey, nobody's completely right in this space, but, you know, I just hate it when people's track records are absolutely horrible, right? And yet people still listen to them. Now, what's hard is when people are brand new in this space, they don't know who knows anything, right? They're just like, oh, okay, you know, this person has 7 million subscribers. They must know what they're talking about. In some cases, that is true. In a lot of cases, it's not at all. And so the question is, like, are you paying attention to track records and who's right and who's wrong? Because it's hard to tell in the short term, you know, who has a good analysis and who doesn't. But on the long term, you can figure it all out. And so that's the great thing about sticking in the space. Now, I do strongly recommend those that are here for life-changing wealth. Just understand a couple things. I'm going to share with you a few rules that lead to that, as well as I'm going to share with you how to absolutely make it happen for you. Rule number one is don't trade on leverage. Leverage is a fantastic way to lose all your money in the middle of a bull run, and I have seen it happen. Now, I realize many promoters promote Bybit links and other things, and I don't. Even though I would make tons of money doing it, it would hurt my heart. And the reason is trading on leverage, 95% of people get wrecked over time. 5% of people make all the stories that everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. 95% get wrecked. And so I couldn't do that to you. I don't care. So not that I hate Bybit's platform. That's great for those who are exceptionally good at understanding the risk versus rewards, knowing exactly when it's turned against them and pulling out so that their downside risk is very, very low and their upside risk on the trades is high. That is only 5% of the people. So I know you've all heard stories of somebody making a crazy amount of money. Just know that's not average, and that in the middle of a bull run, you can lose all your money trading leverage. The second thing I would say, don't borrow money to buy crypto. It will put you in a bind because we have retracements. And the problem is in life, you're most tempted to do that when things are going really well. And what happens after things are going really well? Well, a retracement, right? Aren't we seeing that? We had Bitcoin run up. That's probably when many of you got in, and you know, Bitcoin was at 40,000 and then it was at 65,000. At 65,000, wasn't that when you were feeling the most pressure to take out loans to buy more crypto? When is the absolute worst time to do that? Then, right? So don't do that. Third is trade with money that you can't afford to lose. Why? Because you will lose it, especially if you're new. You will lose some of it because you don't know what you're doing yet. And here's what I will share with you. If you will commit yourself to this space, not just for this bull run, and I still think we have half of the bull run ahead of us, if you will commit yourself to at least 2 cycles. So you're here. So this is cycle number 1. And then the next cycle, the chances of you making life-changing wealth, if you will stick around this whole time, the chances are much, much, much higher. And so even though I had an investment background and I got started in 2017, I did not make life-changing wealth in 2017. Now I came in halfway through the bull run and I didn't know what I was doing, and I made some good decisions. I made some bad ones, and I didn't know how to take profits as things were going really well for me. And then I got hit by the real bear market, and most of my portfolio went down tremendously, and I was substantially less than I had even put in. That's all right, because I had been an investor long enough to know that market cycles happen. I used that downtime to really study and learn what I was doing and position myself well. So over that time, I kept buying with money that I could afford to lose. And so it's created absolute life-changing wealth already, even though we're only halfway through this bull cycle. So your chances of hitting all your dreams this cycle, probably not going to happen in reality. Now, maybe you're lucky, and that's great. I would love to see it happen this cycle. But if you will commit yourself to long term, your chances go way, way up. So let's get on to some of the things I really want to talk with you about. I want to share with you what's going on in Bitcoin, why I'm not worried. I want to share with you too a project that's coming soon that is really hot, and I like to identify projects that have a solid chance at 100xing or more. All right, so first let's look at Bitcoin. This on TradingView. This is Bitcoin versus US dollar on the one day time frame on Coinbase, and you're seeing this could absolutely be a head and shoulders pattern. I know my drawing is terrible. It just is what it is. It's never going to get any better. So, you know, if you hate somebody that can't draw well, I'm somebody that cannot draw well. But now it's not exactly a extremely pretty head and shoulders. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but it could drop from here. And where could it go? It could go all the way down to under 20,000. There's some support there. If we were to draw our little horizontal rays, you see right there, you see another one right here. And so just know that it could come all the way down here. It could come lower. I just don't believe it will. If it does, that is an amazing buying opportunity. Why do I think it's a buying opportunity? Why do I laugh at all the people who are saying, oh my gosh, we're entering a 3-year prolonged bear market? Well, 2 reasons. Number one, there's a lot of evidence that shows that this is just price manipulation by whales. Secondly, I go all the way back to 2013, and let me take you on a little history lesson. You weren't around back then. I wasn't around back then either. But let me share with you what happened in 2013. So in 2013, this on the daily time frame, brave new liquid coin index for Bitcoin. So what I like about this one is it has a lot of history, and you will see on April 10th, it peaked out at $267. Then what happened after that? Well, let's look. So it went all the way up to actually $270. It dropped all the way to $53. And that was on April 11th. When did we peak out this cycle? Well, funny enough, not April 11th, but April 15th. Now, we had more of a rounded top here. And my guess is we'll have more of a rounded bottom because it was pretty new and very so it went very parabolic here, followed by a sharp retracement, but then it traded sideways for a while, right? Then what happened? Oh my freaking goodness, who knew? What? So we had this early parabolic run, followed by a retracement, and then a real parabolic run. Imagine all the people that sold here, and they got out, and they panic sold, and they sold at $56. And they missed their chance to 20x. Why? Well, the newspaper told them that it was over and they got scared. So here's what I'll share with you. Number one, if you're patient and hold, even if for some reason we're really in the beginning of the bear market and there is a 3-year bear market, and you just hold, if you didn't buy on leverage and you bought with money that you could afford to lose even though you don't want to, and you just held for 2 or 3 years, for, you know, worst case scenario 3.5, then you are likely to be way, way, way ahead. But my guess is we still have this ahead of us. Now, I don't know it's still ahead of it. I just give it a 90% chance for my own investing portfolio. Now, none of this is financial advice because I am definitely not taking on the responsibility of your financial advisor. I don't have a license for that. I don't want to be. And we're just all here trying to learn the best for ourselves. And so, what I'm sharing with you is the information that I'm acting on and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. With that said, I think Bitcoin really has some, maybe even more of a pullback ahead. That doesn't worry me. I'm not trading on leverage. I tried that. I got wrecked. I could have, used better strategies, and I learned a painful lesson, but why do that? I talked to a friend that is in and out all the time, in and out, and we were talking about returns. And my portfolio over the last 12 months has vastly outperformed his, even though he's way better at day-to-day trading by a ton. And so I like my methods. I'm a swing trader. I buy for periods, like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, sometimes 24 months. And so I buy that way. So let me share with you one of the projects very bullish on. Now, you can get this on Cardstarter. It is not available yet. It's coming soon. And it doesn't even show it on Cardstarter yet. So if we went to Cardstarter's application here, it shows some of the ones. Then it has no upcoming IDOs that it's sharing here, but my information says it's coming on Cardstarter soon. Now, if you followed some of this, now Charlie 3 came out like a month ago and it went absolutely parabolic. Giro Wallet as well. I have no idea how to say that. I'm just going to say Giro Wallet. And it went parabolic. And I don't know how these other three have done. But most of the stuff that's come out on Cardstarter has done extremely well because everyone is so bullish on Cardano. And why are they bullish on Cardano? Well, I'm very bullish on Cardano. I'm especially bullish on projects launching on the ecosystem, right? And so I'm going to be covering the ones coming up. They're launching on Polkadot, Cardano, Kusama, any of the different chains that are really coming into fruition and that I think have a chance to do really well, because that's where some of the highest potential gains are. Now, why am I excited about Matrix Swap? Well, not just this launching on Cardano and Polkadot, which is fantastic, but they'll have not just the major pairs. Besides major assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matrix Swap will list new market pairs as soon as assets become tradable on other decentralized exchanges such as Uniswap, SushiSwap, and PancakeSwap. This gives traders the opportunity to speculate on any assets beginning from day one. Fantastic idea. Now, it's unbounded from liquidity provisions. What's interesting is that it's a virtual AMM, and they do not require liquidity providers. Therefore, Matrix Swap has no volume limitations. Now, I'm curious to figure out how this is coming together. Now, because of who their advisors on the projects are, I'm going to make an assumption. Now, assumptions can sometimes bite you in the butt. However, I know who these advisors are. They're very bright. And so if there weren't substantial backing that this system will work, they wouldn't be advising the project. That's my assumption. It's probably right. But just know, if I were planning to hold this for the long term, that's something I would figure out on exactly what I feel about this key, because I don't have tons of information on how this works yet. Am I very bullish on this? Absolutely. And part of what helps is the advisors. I'll go over them down below so that you can see who they are, and I'll tell you what I know about them. So you can long and short any crypto asset with up to 25x leverage, which is fantastic if you trade on leverage. Do I trade on leverage? No. So, but some people like to bet. Like, you might as well be betting on racehorses, in my opinion. Essentially, you kind of are. I don't do that, but it's nice that the option is there. Cross-chain bridges connecting liquidity from Ethereum to Polkadot and Cardano. Here's one of the other things I really like. An emergency nuke button, converting multiple tokens into one single asset under any transaction via DEX's aggregator. So I have a lot of friends that get in and out of the space frequently, right? And they see the indicators that it's going to go down. They want a nuke button that they can just nuke to, say, USDC or USDT or something. And so they will be very excited about this. Now, I don't do that. In some cases, I do make some sells when it's clear to me it's going to have a bigger pullback. In some cases, I just let it ride. Some of my stuff is long-term capital gains, and I don't want to all of a sudden put it in the short-term capital gains category. So an on-chain referral program, this is cool too. Earn 2% of your friends' trading fees forever. So they have the right components coming together for this. So they are going to have an ERC20 token, which even the stuff that's coming out right now that's going to come out on Cardano, for now they're launching an ERC20 token. It just is what it is because Cardano doesn't have smart contracts live and the Polkadot ecosystem is still coming together. So the breakdown on the allocation is fine. 2.5 to public sale, 12.5 to private, ecosystem rewards, future development. So they're setting aside a lot for future development, as well as a huge amount for ecosystem rewards. That is gigantic, 30%. Team is only keeping 14%, which is totally cool, and 8% to advisors. That all makes sense to me. Project roadmap. So they will be doing, here we go, Q3 2020. We're over here. So Q2 initial funding from investors, staking rewards. So this is where they're at right now. Staking and rewards, smart contracts, trading fees, distribution from buyback mechanism, limit orders and stop loss, public IDO, and DEX listing, which it's supposed to come. My guess it'll be listed on Uniswap after coming through Cardstarter. So then they'll be in the mobile UI improvement, on-chain referral program, etc. later this year. Cardano, Plutus, smart contracts, Ethereum bridge to Cardano bridge, etc. Moonbase, testnet integration, Oracle implementation. So some of this stuff will be coming out right as I think we're in the middle of another parabolic move. And so that's one of the things I'm bullish on. Now, what's cool is you can come do research on the team, click on their LinkedIn profiles, read all about them. I'm going to come down to their advisors. So I've heard of Ben Lakoff. I don't know him, but so this is interesting that one of their advisors is Dylan Dudney, who is actually the CEO of Kylan Network. Now, Kylan is making a lot of big moves, even though they're a really new project. And they're actually just did this partnership with OneChain that I want to find out more about. I'm surprised with all the momentum that they're creating in the space, which is great. Now, here's Joel Kovshoff. I don't know how to say his last name, but he goes by Coach K. And he's been in the space for years, and he does a solid analysis on projects that are good, and he's very familiar in the space of up-and-coming projects. That's actually his specialty. And so if there was a disaster waiting to happen on this, Coach K would not be an advisor, and because he's an advisor, he's going to steer them clear of things that won't go well. So I know I was talking about they're using this essentially virtual liquidity. So my guess is that these two, Lester Lim is also the founder of X21 Digital, which is a major venture capital firm, and they're invested along the biggest projects that do really well. So these two have actually screened amazing screenings. So if there was a problem with that, these two would have caught it. That's the assumption I'm making for my own investment. Now, that's just full disclosure to you on what I know and also what I don't know. All right, so that's Matrix Swap. I did want to share with you that you can click on this docs and it will pull up this so that you can go much more in depth on how everything is going to work. I mean, this paper was well put together. Coming to us on Cardstarter. Now, let's talk about timing again. See, what's funny is this space goes through pumps and then retracements, pumps and then retracements. And not everything pumps at the same time. But I remember we were in the bear market and we were looking for when the bull market would start. And it was hard to tell. But then we had this massive rise. And I pulled one of the DeFi tokens that's out there that has some history on it. Now, one of the problems is with pulling the DeFi tokens is that maybe we can look at SNX, that might even be a good one, is that some of them have rebranded like Aave, so it doesn't show us a full history. But around July 2020, we had this massive pump, and then we had a big retracement. Then we had another massive pump within the greater ecosystem. So some of this doesn't even show up on the Bitcoin charts because Bitcoin wasn't necessarily pumping when these were pumping. So it had a massive pump, then retracement, massive pump, then big retracement. And if we were to actually chart that out, we would find out likely, let's give it a one-day timeline, and we would see that it keeps hitting certain Fibonacci retracement numbers. And so when I see what's happening today, do I get all worried? I do not. There we go. I do not. So it did come. I can't see where the beginning of that came. So let's chart this out. See where we are from here. Now, this chart isn't showing where it started prior to that, unfortunately. So we can't see exactly how far that came up. It makes it look like it came back right to where it started, but actually it was already pumping from here. So on this pump, it came up and it retraced almost to the 78.6 line. And, you know, who knows, maybe I'll have a little bit further retracement. Now, this is in the DeFi space. Since I look so much at altcoins, I wanted to share with you that even within the greater bull market, we have pumps and then retracements, pumps and then retracements. Isn't that what we're seeing here? We see a pump and then a retracement. So when I see this kind of stuff and everybody's freaking out, well, I guess somebody has to do the freaking out. It's just not going to be me. So pump, and we're at the 61.8. Could it come down? Yep. 78.6 would be right around this resistance line here. and then it could come down all the way to the 88.6. Now it may not. If it does, I'm going to be picking up more. As well as I always look at what's going on with Bitcoin as to make my decisions. Now I'm not holding a ton of Bitcoin right now. Most of my exposure is in alts. Why? Higher risk, higher return. And that's okay, because in a greater bull market, I would much rather be holding more alts than Bitcoin. In a retracement, I do not want to be holding all these alts. You absolutely get wrecked holding alts into the bear market. So it's not the place to be. But in a bull market, you can get way higher returns on good alts over just straight up holding Bitcoin. And that's why most of my exposure is to alts over Bitcoin. But I always take a look at what's happening here, because it does impact the other market. Now, alts perform best when Bitcoin is trading sideways. When Bitcoin has massive runs up, people sell their altcoins to roll it into Bitcoin. When Bitcoin has massive dumps down, people sell their altcoins to roll it into Bitcoin. And so alt price suffer. But when it's trading sideways, people get bored with Bitcoin and alts pump huge. Now, my guess is we have some sideways trading ahead of us, and it may still generally trend down, but we'll probably have a big run sometime later this year. And if we have two runs, we might have a run later this year, and then all the way early next year, another parabolic move. And then that will probably be it for this bull market. We'll be entering the bear market, which I hope you stick around for that, because I'm not going to be like I'm going to be have taken profits on most of everything I have. And I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be cashing out into. It might just be stable coins that are then staked for 8 or 10% returns. I'm looking at all the options. I don't know whether that's Freeway Token or Formation Finance, but I'm going to be looking at where to keep that money. And then I will be deploying it during the bear market, when I think we're near bottom or close enough that, and I see really good buys, I'll be buying, because I'm definitely going to be around for this next cycle too. Now after that, I can't make any promises. I may be buying like a small island or something, who knows, but at least this next cycle I will still be around. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if this is the kind of information you want to get, and if you're liking the information you get, you'd help me out a lot by liking it. And if you're not liking this information, that's cool. I mean, different perspective. Hope it's informing you, but if not, I'm cool with that too. Not everyone is a fit together. So if this is the kind of information you want to get more of, subscribe, like the videos. All you rainmakers out there, rainmakers are, my subscribers that share the vision of, number one, sticking around not just for this cycle, but for the next one, and also during the bear market, as well as the people that understand, don't trade on leverage, don't borrow money you can't afford to lose. And that you're making a commitment to yourself to be here, and that you're here to learn and think like an investor. Now, maybe you're here and you already think like an investor, and I'm preaching to the choir, which is great too. That's awesome. Maybe, this is helpful. I do get a lot of my subscribers that chat in the Telegram. You can find our Telegram below for all you rainmakers that want to, share your thoughts there. I do respond and jump in there, usually at least every day. And so you can get some of my thoughts there. Also, I am on Twitter. I'm at Crypto Rain with 2 N's, because somebody had already taken at Crypto Rain with 1 N. So that's a good place to get my information. You can see right here at Crypto Rain. Great. Join me there. Do have a song by Manuela for all you rainmakers who have committed yourself to being here, not just this cycle, but the next one. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.